Welcome back to the Relius Reviews. Today's review is focused on TNT Original Claws Season 4, Episodes 3 and 4. And Episode 3 was entitled Chapter 3, Ambition. So Episode 3 basically starts off with just Desna and the entire gang at a meeting with potentially new customers and recruiters about how to start off their OxyContin business and everything with multi-level marketing, and the meeting seems to go well and everything else. Meanwhile, Quiet and Uncle Daddy and Bryce, they are talking about the fentanyl patches that Bryce was given in the last episode, about what to do and about how to sell them and everything else. And Bryce was able to find a new customer who wants to buy all of the patches. And Alas, it seems as if like this lady is a part of a cult. And the business starts to go smooth at first, with all of the recruiters getting new customers and selling all of their boxes as they're supposed to, until Desna realizes that someone is $500 short and she wants to get her money by any means necessary. So she basically forces Jen to threaten the customer to get the money, and it goes sideways big time as the customer, the recruiter, Kim, is unable to get the money. And long story short, it results with Kim beating up her husband, going to jail, and losing Desna and Jen because of what they were doing. This episode shows how much greediness can be a factor in life. As to me, I felt like Desna went way overboard with these two episodes because she was doing the absolute most when it came to getting her money back, trying to make money. Like, it was just ridiculous. Meanwhile, Bryce, he meets up with his newest customer. He gives her all of the fentanyl patches. And a long story short, it definitely was a cult, as Quiet and Uncle Daddy realizes who he sold the patches to. Long story short, a whole pile of new t-shirts were made in the process, as t-shirts were just laid all around because of Bryce. And they all try to like figure out what to do so that nobody from the police will come after them. Georgia, the new worker at the shop, she is having a horrible time trying to paint nails and everything, as Virginia is trying to do her best to help her. And it almost results with just Georgia quitting, but she refuses to quit, and Virginia gives her encouragement on what to do next and how to keep going. Desna and Jen's relationship in this episode is starting to go sideways, as Desna, she's becoming a little bit too greedy with getting some money, and Jen is getting a little bit tired of all of just the crazy shenanigans that Desna has put the entire gang into over the last 4 seasons. Dr. Ken continues to get violated in this episode, as people just continue to disrespect him, belittle him. Uncle Daddy kidnaps him, beats him up, places him in an animal cage, and he talks to a ghost version of himself. And long story short, he grows a pair. And he basically tells Desna and Uncle Daddy that he is going to continue to work for them as long as they accept his agreements. And if they don't, he is basically going to sell out the entire gang. And if it implicates him, it doesn't matter. He will bring down everybody. And Desna and Uncle Daddy are forced to accept the agreement. Episode 4 was entitled Loyalty. Then the episode basically starts off with just Desna and her new boo celebrating their success by Desna just having some fun and everything. Desna decides to give out an award for the best recruiter who sold the most pill boxes throughout the entire month. Quiet Ann hires a bunch of former friends that she was in prison with to help her sell the drugs that she, Uncle Daddy, and Bryce has, and she divides all of them into different territories on what should be sold. Bryce, in the meanwhile, continues to be disrespected by Uncle Daddy even more now, ever since what he did in the last episode, with the entire cult, making themselves into some shirts. Dr. Ken, he makes a date with a new friend that he made in the last episode, and they go out for mini golf. And the entire date, it goes pretty well. And the date reveals a pretty shocking secret, but to Dr. Ken, it doesn't matter. He still enjoys her presence, and the two, I assume, are going to continue to date and everything. The girls decide to have a girls' night out, celebrating their success with the Oxycontin pills and everything. Desna soon realizes that someone has been stealing all of their pills and reselling them as their own. She immediately accuses Quiet Anne of doing so, but Quiet Anne is like she didn't do jack with the pills until somebody breaks in at the nail shop. Georgia basically catches the robber at the nail shop, and the robber basically says is that he was hired off a dark web website to steal the Oxycontin pills, and Desna soon realizes that it is Bambi. Desna and the entire gang confront Bambi about what she did. Bambi says that she had to do it because she and her husband was about to lose their shop of business, and she had to do what she had to do. But to Desna, she does not care, and Desna was about to violate her until Bambi escapes. And this is where Desna goes way overboard in this episode. She accidentally puts Bambi on a t-shirt, and she has no regrets over it. As she said, Bambi deserved for what she was doing. Bryce, in the meanwhile, has been placed in a very weird situation where he has to fight an MMA fighter. And at first, he is getting his wig split, getting violated by the fighter until he imagines the fighter as Uncle Daddy. Thanks to Jen's motivation, long story short, he wins the fight. Jen's and Desna's relationship continue to deteriorate after what Desna committed in this episode. I can definitely see why. It's really, really, really bad. Polly and her new friend meets up, and Baron, he has a friend of his own who is dying from cancer. Virginia joins them. The friend dies after spending the night with Polly, Baron, and Virginia. And the episode basically ends with just police catching and taking in Bryce and Jen's kids. And there's a huge possibility that they may lose their kids altogether. My thoughts for episodes 3 and 4. I felt like they were pretty good episodes. I felt like Desna was going way too overboard when it came with these two episodes. Like, to me, she was far too greedy about some money. And her killing Bambi accidentally and not having any type of regret over it, I could see Desna's crimes being brought back up in this season and her possibly going to jail. As for her and Jen and their friendship, I have a feeling it might end in this season as well, because Desna has been acting too hot nowadays and Jen is not rocking with it, to say the least. But who knows what's going to happen next? Only time will tell. So thank you for watching, as always, and until next time, goodbye.